Welcome, everybody. This is a digital transformation 10-year journey from I to We by Heatherwick Studio. My name is Alfonso Monedero, head of BIM. I joined Heatherwick in 2015 as a BIM technician. I became a BIM manager in 2018. I'm an architect by training, and I have experience in Spain, where I am from, in India, Chile, and in UK since 2015. So in Heatherwick, we have a very diverse portfolio. We do small things like the spoon chair, temporary projects like the Shanghai Pavilion, Culture's Yard in London, renovation project, a park floating in the Hudson River in Manhattan, the Little Island. We go from bridges to transport, like the Route Olympia project, temporary exhibitions like Harvey Nichols. There was a time where we went crazy with Christmas cards. And the smallest project we have ever done is the Christian Louboutin perfume bottle. And the biggest one is the Changi Airport, which is now under stage 4 in Singapore. But in our projects, the craft is still key. We think paying attention to details, big and small, is vital. We have an artistic approach is fundamental to us, is one of our key values. And we lead from the human experience rather than any fixed design dogma. We are particularly interested in the materiality of our projects, how people experience them at a human scale, because we believe this makes buildings have a greater longevity. And by these, we mean the material selection, biodiversity, future adaptability, or building reuse. For instance, our Google project in California, we designed along with BIC, have a photovoltaics that are integral to the building design to help with the company energy usage. We fully subscribe to the idea that buildings can and should be beautiful and sustainable, and these two issues can coexist in the same structure. About the studio, it was founded in 1994 by two people, Thomas Heatherwick and Jonathan Thomas, and it started growing naturally. So in 2014, we were a group of 150. And now we are around 250. We can grow a little bit, be a little bit under that number, but it's 250 problem solvers that we work in any kind of projects in 3D. At the beginning, in 1994, we started with product design and furniture projects. That was everything we were doing. And the different portfolio was naturally growing, including exhibitions, workspace, healthcare, factory, residential, and it has steadily grown to encompass a wide range of projects. It's still growing, and every time we try to push ourselves to make new kind of projects like landmarks or master planning. And our design process involves engagement from every designer, from making to digital explorations to rapid prototyping. So we go very quickly from testing something in the computer, going to the workshop, try it and come back. And all members of the studio are able to use any kind of tools we have after a brief induction. All our projects start with a conversation that we're trying to do and then have a post-it session. We try to make a question, establish the question, and then go to ideation. And in the ideation process, we can have loose ideas, can come from anywhere, from anyone. And if it can fit into a post-it note, it can be simple enough, powerful enough, and one strong idea. And this idea could be a provocation, a question, an idea, and we keep doing this process until we have it. We found out that we have the proper idea. But this path, it's never straightforward. We have this winding path that is going back and forth. A lot of different iterations happens through the process. And through this process of getting the project, we can produce a large amount of material, a lot of ideas that they are discarded through the process, but never wasted. So this is an example of all the models that we have produced in a single project, and we can be jumping from the human scale, the one-to-one mock-up, to the urban scale back and forth. These ideas, although they are discarded, they're never wasted. So we can get an idea and reflect it in different ways. So in this case, we have structural pods. They could be part of a large building, and the structural diagram, we can enlarge the pods and make it a park. We can have just 2 pods and make a bridge, or make a living building from the structural pods. We did the same with pleated glass, like glass houses or canopies or facades. We repeated with pillar windows, whether it's in South Africa or it's in New York, or with structural stairs making the facade. I'm going to show you 2 projects with the same idea, driven from 2 different angles, from the physical and the digital perspective. So we started this project asking ourselves, how do we give individuality to this kind of inexpensive buildings? This was a humble building, and we have to give them something special. So we started asking ourselves how we can make the most of materials. So just getting metal foil and start wrapping it, it became way more interesting than the original material. And then the next question was how we can control it, how we can know the results and anticipate what was going to happen. So going to the workshop and start 3D printing these rolling pins, we could do a lot of iteration with different materials and start seeing the results and the behavior of this material. So the next natural step is to scale up. And from this little model, we could scale up to a 1-to-1. So to do this, we had to create our own machines and then start doing 1-to-1 mockups. Once we were doing the 1-to-1 mockups, the next natural step is to start doing construction details on the material and then go on site and build it. In this case, it was built in 2005, and we were the ones creating the facade because no contractor felt confident by doing something like this for the first time. 20 years later, we are engaged in this other project, which is complete different scale, different program, different budget, and with 20 years of technology evolution. We could not replicate the same process, and it was not feasible at this scale. But with the use of technology, we could start seeing how the materials behave when you apply identical constraints. We could replicate how the rolling pin was doing with a physical material in a digital world, and we could apply that to a facade. And by these, we could anticipate more realistic results than just doing it with traditional computational design. The next step in this project is to start doing rationalization, to have repetition without noticing. And to do this, we have the panelization. We went down to a module that it was comprised of 3 different parts, making a bigger module of 3 by 3 meters. And by using the Cairo pattern, we could have repetition in the panels, but without seeing it obvious on the facade. So the results are completely different from the other project, but with the same idea of how we can make a simple material way more engaging than its base material. If we go back to the studio, the evolution we have had in the last 10 years, so as I was saying, in 2014, we were around 150 problem solvers. At the heart of it, it was Thomas Heatherwick, our design director and founder of the studio. And surrounded to him, there were the group of project leaders, the people that he fully trusted. And then we had a flat structure of the other 100 or 100 plus designers. Each of these individuals, they had digital skills. So most of them were very fluent in Rhino because we work in 3D, but we had some people with fluent in Grasshopper, some of them in AutoCAD, visualizers with V-Ray, with Maxwell, some Revit users. But when we were assembling the teams, we were focusing on the architectural skills, not the technology or digital skills. So most times when we had project, we had a group of individuals with different expertises in different softwares. So we could have the same project being run in Rhino, AutoCAD, and Revit at the same time, and rendering in V-Ray and Maxwell at the same time. So with the natural evolution of technology, all the landscape of tools becomes too large in order to control. So we need to organize ourselves. In opposition of most of the architectural firms that we compete against, that they have a design technology group, just one group that is controlling all the digital side. We had to organize ourselves in a different way because our competitors, they usually are 2 times, 3, 5, even 10 times larger than us. So if we follow the same path, we will always be behind. So we need to be creative in the way we organize. So in 2016, we assembled these 5 domains: BIM, visual communication, technical innovation, making, and computational design, under one umbrella called the project enabling. The big difference between our project enabling and a design technology is that we had 5 head of domains working together, but with different missions, with the same objective, which is provide projects with the best possible outcome. But we were working together. We're not working in silos, but with different objectives. In 2020, making and technical innovation, they were going on their own path, just deviating from the original part of project enabling. And we reassembled the digital with BIM, immersive media, and computational design. So we had the 3 head of domains that we worked together in order to provide the best tool set for the projects, but with 3 different missions. If I show you a little bit about the immersive media, the first thing we do is VR, the obvious one in immersive media. And we just not do VR visualizations, but we can do collaboration. So we can get the real models, put them into this platform, and start commenting and doing design reviews on the 3D space. And we can have many people going onto the same model, start commenting, drawing, making some details, changing materials, making measures. So this way, we have a true 3D collaboration and design review. The next one would be mixed reality, and we use mixed reality in 2 different contexts. The first one would be on site to start reviewing the progress of the project and what would be next steps, kind of a 4D phasing, or do some iterations on the empty site so to see which options would fit better with the context. And the second one would be using AR for design. In this case, we were designing a car, and we didn't have that expertise in cars from previous projects. So it was really valuable for us to put the car into a mixed reality space and compare the sizes with the real objects. In this case, we saw that the wheels were too big for the real world, and we had to redesign a little bit on that area of the car. At Heatherwick, we love storytelling. That's how we communicate the ideas, so our sketches are the best way to do so. We have been exploring different types of sketch mode to present our design in the best way possible, like digital sketches, adding a sketch line on top of render views. So this way of expressing ourselves is key in communicating the design intent. And in this case, we can do interoperability in the sense that we can control from Grasshopper what is happening in real. So just with a slider, we can have a true live and real model. We don't need to be exporting, importing, but we can control the geometry from Grasshopper and have different options in real life. If we jump to the G-code, the computational design team, we started doing tools for specialists. So we have a group of specialists that they were creating these kind of projects completely from a Grasshopper definition. So in this case, the vessel in New York, it was all controlled from one point and everything developed in this script. We had to do the signposting to navigate it. And we had the bottleneck that just the person creating the script was able to navigate it and modify. So it's really efficient, but if we have that person going on leave or going on sick leave, then we had a problem. We had to change the strategy for tools for specialists into tools for non-specialists. We have worked to make our Heatherwick toolbar for Rhino that is working like bringing BIM capabilities into the Rhino environment. So we can be assigning levels, so the geometry is not floating in the space, it's assigned to levels. And when we modify the levels, the geometry would be moving with it. We can bring parameters to geometry. We can navigate with these levels. We can produce schedules. We can export these schedules to Excel. So it's the basic information that we can have into BIM software. We're bringing that into Rhino. And this is helping us with the transition from Rhino into Revit. Because if we have the data already in Rhino, it's fairly easy to transfer that into Revit. And we have been exploring the world of AI and generative images as every other firm in the industry. So we started using Midjourney, but we find out that the results were not adhering to the style that we have. They were too generic. And if we keep using Midjourney for producing images, we will be losing our touch, the thing that make us different to other competitors. We realized that we have a library of 120,000 images in our archive. So if we start teaching the diffusion models with these images, when we bring a hand sketch and we ask it to make a render, we would be way closer to our style. It's not perfect, it's not polished to have a conversation with the client, but it's good enough for us to start having internal conversations where we want the project to be going. We can bring CAD lines, like drawings made in 2D, and have different options fairly quickly from the model. We could also bring a screenshot and ask different materials, so we can be checking how this material would be behaving with the geometry. Or we could bring a Rhino screenshot and start painting on top, like the top part, we want to use this project. The bottom part, we want to use this other project, and then have different options fairly quickly. So we have synthesized these ideas into our Heatherwick AI tool. So we have the text to image, image to image, and in painting. In the BIM world, we made a digital strategy in 2018 where we focus first in interoperability. And each year we have one project, like the magic button was our internal process. Rhino Insight, we got exposed in 2019 and we start using it in real projects. And BIM in 2020. After that, we felt that the interoperability issue was solved. So we moved into QA/QC of models 2021, 2022 and 23. We were focusing on automation, and this year we're focusing on intelligence. So if we skip the interoperability part, the BIM pulse of the QA/QC, every time we synchronize the models, is creating a report that we can keep track. So we have a real life track of what is happening in the models. With the Autodocs app, we are creating drawings automatically and views placed on drawings. And we can produce a full set of GAs, but also assembly drawings that they combine different views into the same sheet. And this is improving our efficiency in doing the cartoon set. As I said with the post-it notes, we also do the peanut walls. And we had to move it into the digital world after the working from home with the pandemic. We used the peanut walls for design reviews and drawing on top of the existing drawings. And we also start putting our exports from Revit. So we had to create an app that it was automatically getting the drawings from Revit and pasted them into a mirror board. So the result is that with just a click of a button, we have all the packages organized as columns and sorted by drawing numbers. The last bit would be the Copilot app, where we have Revit integration of all our documents, and these documents is feeding a chatbot that we can access from Revit. So the first part is doing a basic chatbot with existing documents, and now we're working into leveraging the information within the model. To summarize, our integrated digital approach is not a mere consequence of technological advancement, but a crafted strategy designed to augment our core strength, design innovation. And by maintaining distinct yet interconnected digital domains, we can delve deeper into edge specialization, ensuring holistic, enriched, and most importantly, a design-centric outcome. Because at the center of the digital world, we have the project, which is why we exist, is to make great projects and make people feel emotions when they visit them. That's the core of what we do and why we exist.